Hello guys, this is Sula speaking, and I'm going to do another commentary video here for League of Legends. This time, I'm going to do something a little bit differently. We're going to look at some of these team fights in a little bit more detail since they can get a little bit complicated, and I'm going to go through a couple different examples of a team fight. This is from the last video I did with Statue of Karthus, and I want to break down this particular team fight, so let me stop it here. The situation is that we're going back and forth in the middle lane. There are 4 members of my team here in the middle lane, and 4 members of the enemy team. You can see on the minimap that Sona, our Sona player, or Strike, and their Teemo player are both down in the bottom lane. So this is going to be a 4 versus 5 team fight. Now, when it gets to a team fight, the first thing that you need to look for is some way of initiating the team fight. There are different champs that have different abilities that are good at initiating. What we're going to see here is Metallion playing Xinjiao, taking an opportunity to initiate the fight, and then the rest of us are going to join in. So let me advance this further. Now, let's take a look here. Now, look right here. I'm going to stop it again. Take a look at the positioning of the enemy team Soraka. Soraka is a support magic champion. She is very, very squishy in direct combat. Notice how far forward Soraka has gotten sucked here in front of the enemy team. This is a mistake in positioning on this player's part, and Metallion is going to take advantage of this. So let's advance it forward. And notice that Metallion charges forward and initiates on the Soraka. That's going to be the start of the battle. The rest of us are behind the rest of the enemy team, and we're going to follow in. So he immediately starts attacking and blowing up the enemy team Soraka. Now I throw down my Wall of Pain right in the middle of the conflict to slow the enemy team. You can see Soraka has already healed herself. She's already spammed her initial heal and healed some of the damage, but she's already taken about half health damage, so she's already about halfway dead. Metallion's also managed to charge forward and get in some very good damage on the enemy team's Gangplank as well, who's right there. So let's go forward again. Oh, and you can also see Ape, who's playing as Morgana, although it's a little hard to see here. Morgana is getting into the middle of the enemy team, and then Donsky, who's playing as Garen, is charging forward as well with his Sunfire capes and spinniness. That's always going to be a good thing. All right, so let's go forward another minute. You can see right here, Gangplank fires off his ultimate, so we're going to be fighting in his area of effect damage, which is good. Soraka has also now burned her global ultimate, Wish, which heals everybody on the enemy team. However, the usage is too early. She would like to probably use this a little bit later on in the fight, because you can see it's barely healed any damage on Urgot at all. You can see it heals everybody else for 399, but it only heals him for 118. So ideally, Soraka would prefer to be in the back of the enemy team and use this later on in the fight. Because she was caught forward, we've managed to force her into using it before she really wants to. Now also, Ape has triggered the Morgana ultimate, Soul Shackles, and he's managed to get it attached onto 3 members of the enemy team, Gangplank, Soraka, and their 3rd player up there in the front, who I can't see at the moment. But anyway, he's managed to get it attached to all of them, which is a very good sign. And finally, in the back, Urgot is just kind of standing around not doing anything. And so that is going to be pretty crucial. All right, so let's advance this forward a little bit. And right here, or excuse me, right there, the Morgana stun goes off, and Ape has managed to stun all 3 members of the enemy team, their Shen player, the Soraka player, and their Gangplank player. So they're all going to be stunned now for, I guess, about 2 seconds, which is really good. You can see that Donsky, playing as Garen, is now spinning on the enemy team's Gangplank. I am walking right through them with Karthus' Defile running, spamming Lay Waste in the process, which is what I want to be doing. Metallion's been hit with Exhaust, which is going to prevent him from doing damage for the next couple of seconds, but as soon as that wears off, he'll be right back into the fight. And meanwhile, the enemy team's Urgot is still kind of just standing there, not really doing a whole lot. All right, so let's advance this forward. You can see now there, Gangplank is the first one to go down on the enemy team, between a little damage from my Defile and mostly Garen's Demacian Justice. Donsky finishes him off, gets the execution with the little blade graphic there. So now we've taken down 1 member of the enemy team. Next, we're going to focus on Soraka, so I'll advance this forward again. And so Soraka gets caught forward, and she's trying to heal herself, but it's not going to be enough. And so Metallion gets credit for that kill. And now Shen has used the Shen ultimate. I'm not entirely sure who he was protecting there. It was probably Soraka he was trying to save with the Shen Let's Stand United ultimate. But now he's been caught behind the rest of the team, and so that means he's not going to be able to get out of this. So I'll advance this forward. You can see we're all going to gang up on him, and he has no chance. He gets taken down very quickly. Now, notice that Urgot has come forward a couple of steps to try to support Shen, but that's a mistake on his part, because by coming forward, now he has lost any opportunity to retreat. So we finish off Shen, and now we're going to go after Urgot. You can see Ape is starting to get a little low, but he's still hanging in there. So now I'll advance this again, and you can see Urgot's now taking damage from my Defile, and oops, now my Wall of Pain has come off cooldown, so he's going to be slowed, and that means he's not going to get away, and that's going to be the end for him as well. So just that brief moment where he turned back to try and help out his teammate, and that's going to result in Urgot getting killed as well. So that's how we were able to break down and win that team fight. And then that's ultimately going to be responsible for us first getting this tower right here, as I'll just let the video play out a few seconds longer. It's going to be responsible for us getting this tower right here, and then it's going to be responsible for us winning this game because the other team surrenders. Conversely, what I'm going to show here is an example of a team fight where things didn't work out too well. This situation here is that we have 5 champs all towards the bottom half of the map. We know that there are 4 members of the enemy team in the area around Dragon because we saw them heading there. However, we want to try and provoke a fight here because we can see that the enemy team's Ashe is way off in the top lane, and we're hoping that we can fight them 4 versus 5 and have a chance of winning. Now notice immediately from looking at the minimap that Cole playing Annie is separate from the rest of us. He's down on the river, and that is going to spell trouble, as you'll see right here. So I'm going to start the video. And you can see right away, the enemy team finds him down there on the river by himself. They're going to stun him using Vygar's Event Horizon, and then the rest of the enemy team is going to pile on the damage, and that's going to be the end of Cole. So you can already see what's going to happen here. Anyway, before we can get to him, Vygar is going to finish him off. Now it's going to be more of a 4 versus 4 fight, so we're chasing down the enemy team, hoping to find them here. We see Vygar heading off into the brush, so we're going to go after him. But look, in comes Blitzcrank from behind, so already we're in sort of bad positioning. Now furthermore, look on the minimap. Notice where our Tristana player is located. Mostly Harmless, who's playing Tristana, has decided to circle around to the north end of the Golem buff for some reason, instead of being paired up with the other members of our team. That means that Tristana is going to be separate from us for the rest of this team fight, and since Tristana is our highest level player and is the one doing the most damage, that's going to be very bad news for us indeed. Plus, you can also just see right here that the enemy team has control of the brush. They are running in and out of the brush, or we are running in and out of the brush, and they are staying concealed, which is putting us in a bad position. I'm going to advance this forward again. So we see their Vygar running around, and look, their enemy team's Vygar has managed to land a stun with his Event Horizon on all 3 of us, myself, Donsky, and Lurker. So we are now all stunned for the next few seconds. And meanwhile, look at the rest of the enemy team. Their Annie and their Misfortune players are in the brush off to our right. Mostly Harmless is still stuck off to the north and is out of the fight. And you can see what's going to happen. We're all lined up in a stun perfectly for the Misfortune and the Annie ults. So let's just get this over with. First, now in comes the Misfortune ultimate. You can see her firing it off there. You can see Donsky and Lurker are right in the middle of it, taking full damage. Blitzcrank has popped Donsky and Lurker up into the air, so he's getting in a little mini stun as well. And furthermore, we're all grouped up so that we'll be prime targets for the Annie stun as well. Anyway, so you can see what's going to happen next. Annie drops her Bear Tibbers right in the middle of us. That kills Lurker, and it gets off a further stun on myself and Donsky. Even the Blitzcrank passive isn't going to be enough to save Donsky there. So they go ahead and they finish off Donsky. So that gets them their second kill, and in comes a really good Ashe arrow. Now I've managed to use the Kale ultimate to make myself invincible, but that's still not going to protect me from the stun that I took from getting hit by the Tibbers ultimate a second ago. And so the rest of the enemy team is going to just gather together, and they're going to finish me off, and so that gets them their second kill. And now, even as Mostly Harmless Buster shots one of them back, it's already too late. This battle's already over, and he's not going to be able to kill 4 of them by himself. So Mostly Harmless is going to try to slip away, and in fact, even though he gets hit by a Vygar Event Horizon stun there, which is kind of unnecessary because Tristana can rocket jump over it, Mostly Harmless is in fact going to be able to get away, but the damage has been done, and that's going to put them further ahead. And in fact, the enemy team is in fact going to ultimately win this game. Jump ahead. Okay. Let's finish by looking at a case of a Baron fight. Our team is going for Baron here, and the situation is that Mookie is doing most of the damage on our team, and he and I are the only ones who are level 18, whereas our Olaf player and Cole are severely underleveled. Now here comes the enemy team to challenge us, so I'm going to pause it right here. I think that this was an overly aggressive Baron. I actually did not want to do this Baron fight, but our random Olaf and our random Warwick players charged in and felt that we had to support them. Now the enemy team sees us doing Baron, and so they're going to initiate by having Karthus go in. And yes, an enemy Karthus, not me playing Karthus for a change, is going to initiate by throwing down Wall of Pain. So that's how they're going to get the fight started. And note, for those of you who don't see Karthus that often, throwing down Wall of Pain does provide sight, so that gives them the enemy team line of sight for what we're doing here in Baron. So I'm going to advance this. Now in comes Nunu, and in comes their Zilean players. Now here, I initially get hit by a Nunu Ice Bolt Blast, and what I tried to do, thought I'd do, was blow them away using Janna's Monsoon, but this is a very, very poor Janna ultimate. It does essentially nothing. It just brushes them off to the northwest a little bit. So this was back when I was first starting playing Janna, so that's my excuse here, but this is a very poorly used Janna ult, so I get basically nothing out of it when I could have gotten much better use. Alright, anyway, the rest of the team is continuing Baroning, so let's go continue on with the fight. Now Karthus goes in using Defile, and so here I'm going to pause the fight again. The enemy team's Karthus is doing very good damage with his Defile. He's doing what he should be doing, which is waiting into the battle and starting to get that area of effect damage. Meanwhile, Mookie has turned away from fighting the Baron itself, and he gets off an absolutely perfect Misfortune ultimate. Notice how all three members of the enemy team, their Zilean, their Karthus, and their Nunu players, are standing right in the middle of the Misfortune ultimate. What they need to do is have some kind of disable to stop Mookie from doing it, but I don't think that they have that with these three champions, so there's not much they can do. This means that they're going to take a lot of damage here from Mookie's ultimate before anything else happens. Alright, so let's continue on forward with this. And now, right here, you can see how much damage that Nunu took. You can see Nunu's almost dead. Karthus and Zilean are both at about half life. Meanwhile, on their end, most of the damage is coming from Karthus's Defile, so he's doing the right thing in pushing forward into the middle of the enemy team. I'm spamming out Janna's Tornado to try and throw them up into the air, and meanwhile Zilean is sort of maneuvering around to get down to the bottom side, while Olaf and Warwick have been mostly focusing on Baron, it seems. I think Olaf may have turned to attack Nunu as well. Nunu is going to try to get off his ultimate, but he's going to be killed before he can get it off. So there we go. Down goes Nunu. He's killed instantly. I managed to pop Karthus up in the air, although he continues to do area of effect damage with his Defile. You can see how much damage it's doing to Cole, even in just that one instant he's run in there. So together we're going to take down Karthus. Now notice in comes Tryndamere into the fight. You can see he's coming in down on the bottom side, and Tryndamere does have the lizard buff, so that's going to be a mistake. He's going to, or not a mistake, excuse me, that's going to be a problem for us because he's going to be adding this slowing effect. What is a mistake is Zilean popping off his Chrono Shift ultimate on himself. That's just a waste because he really should have used it on someone more valuable to the team. He probably should have put it on Karthus because Karthus is doing the most damage, and then Karthus's Defile would have kept running even as he came back to life again. But this is pretty typical for a solo queue Zilean. People are interested in saving themselves from dying instead of just doing what's best for the team. But anyway, that was probably a mistake on their part. You can also see that we finished off the Baron, so we've now got the Baron buff, and that will be helpful for us in going forward with this fight. So I'm going to advance this again. You can see that, now here's one other thing I'll mention. You can see coming in right here, everybody turns to focus on Zilean. But what you also notice here is the Karthus ult coming in. Now, as someone who's played Karthus a lot, I can definitely tell you this is a misplay. This is not how to use Karthus's Death Defiled passive. What you want to do is immediately turn on Defile if it's not on already, and then start spamming Lay Waste around you. And then you don't use Karthus's ultimate until the very end of his passive. You count 4 seconds and then trigger his ultimate because it takes 4 seconds to cast. You do not start by using Requiem. You never want to initiate with it because once you use Requiem, you can't cast any other spells. And that's a waste because not having that Defile running in the middle of our team makes a big difference. So anyway, that's a misplay by their Karthus player. Again, notice how Mookie continues to stand in the back of our team with no one on the enemy team targeting him, despite the fact that he's doing by far the most damage in this fight. So let's advance this again. Zilean goes down, and then, but he'll come back to life because of Chrono Shift. The Karthus ultimate takes out 3 members of our team. Warwick, Shen, Cole playing Shen, and Olaf all go down. But again, the most important member of our team, Mookie, is still alive and is still fighting, and in fact is doing a ton of damage. So I'm going to continue. Now Mookie manages to shoot down, just continues firing at the enemy team. Tryndamere is going to save himself briefly with Endless Rage, but as soon as that's over, he's going to die. And Zilean has chrono shifted himself. He's come back to life, but is he going to do anything? No, he's just going to turn and flee out of here. So Tryndamere is going to go down quickly. I think I actually get the kill on him. Yeah, because I stole the red and blue buffs. And the net result is that we take Baron, and Zilean is going to get out of there, but we are going to have the most important member of our team still alive. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back to regular videos next time, but I wanted to give you guys something a little bit different for this one. Take care, guys.